Coming up in the news, police on the hunt for the culprits who made off with the cash from an ATM machine. Plans announced for festivities in honor of the 46th anniversary of independence. And tonight, we will bring you a special Father's Day feature.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Rule-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news tonight, police are on the hunt for the culprits involved in a break-in at Solomon Supermarket on Queens Highway. But it wasn't the store that was targeted. It was the ATM machine, and police are now calling it a trend. Italia Hall is our top story.
When our ZNS News team arrived on the scene, caution tape blocked off the area as police officers conducted their initial investigations. The glass door at the entrance of the store was smashed. An ATM belonging to First Caribbean could be seen on the floor dismantled, and marked evidence was on the ground in the parking lot. According to Assistant Commissioner of Police Samuel Butler, the duty manager for Solomon's arrived at the Queens Highway location shortly before 7 a.m., and while conducting his routine checks, he noticed that the glass door located on the south side of the store was smashed, and the ATM directly outside was not in its original location. Butler says during their preliminary investigation, they learned that the vault was removed from the ATM.
We know that cash was in fact in the vault. The managers of the vault are doing their job, and they will speak to us at a later point. And we know that this is somewhat mirroring what we saw recently in New Providence, and already we are speaking with our counterparts in New Providence. We are comparing our notes, and we were hoping to bring some speedy resolution to this.
Police have no idea as to how much money was stolen and are currently working with the bank to obtain that information. However, they are confident that more than one person was involved in the heist. Butler says police are out in full force collecting evidence, and so far they have had some success.
There was a particular instrument used to assist in removing of the vault. We've already identified where that particular instrument is located, which is some distance away from here. And as I said, we'll continue to follow our leads.
Now, Butler confirmed that the store is equipped with surveillance cameras, and he says that he hopes that it can help with the investigation.
We also asked other business owners along this causeway to examine their video CC recording, because you just never know what you would see. And if you see anything appearing to be suspicious around that 4 o'clock, but anytime during the night, but we have reasons to begin to look around anywhere between 3:30 and probably 5 o'clock. We'll ask that you certainly reach out to us, and we'll be happy to come and take a look.
Now, ACP Butler says he believes that this is a new trend, and going forward, recommendations will be made to the various banks about safeguarding their ATM machines. It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Now, we reached out to the Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Solomon's, Renee Bastian, who confirmed that the culprit smashed the glass door located at the front entrance of the store. She says the store is equipped with surveillance cameras and that the footage has been turned over to police. Bastian notes that no food items of any other products was stolen from that store and that there was no additional damage other than the glass door through which the culprits gained entrance. Meantime, police are continuing their investigations into the complaints of break-ins at the downtown fruit and vegetable market. A number of vendors telling ZNS News yesterday that they are being targeted and have called on the authorities to step in and rescue their struggling businesses. While no one would comment from the Agriculture Department, police officials have confirmed that they have reached several reports of break-ins at the downtown fruit and vegetable market and assured that officers are aggressively investigating these matters. Meantime, Assistant Commissioner of Police Samuel Butler says officers over in Bimini are continuing their probe into the two recent murders on that island. On April 28th, U.S. citizen and owner of Big John's restaurant, 47-year-old Eileen Perez, was gunned down at his home in Bimini. Then on May 19th, Bimini businessman Adrian Duncan was shot and killed at his home in Baileytown. He is expected to be laid to rest this weekend. ACP Butler says help from the public is needed in locating a suspect in each case. Meantime, he says both matters remain under active investigation.
Going to spare no efforts in ensuring that we do from the police department all that is humanly possible to bring some resolve to those matters. We've talked to any number of persons, and we will continue to talk to individuals, persons of interest. Again, a wonderful place to appeal to our community in Bimini, and in fact the entire northern Bahamas, and by extension the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. If there's any information you have, we'd like for you to reach out to us and get connected with the police, and so we can talk.
In other news, incumbent president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilson, re-elected yesterday for a 5th consecutive term. Wilson's executive team includes Tiffany Burrell Roberts as vice president. The Secretary General's position is still undecided. Assistant Secretary General is Cedric Roll. Lorraine Knowles was returned as treasurer, and Quentin LaRota retained his post as area vice president for Grand Bahama. Elections were held throughout the country yesterday. And also in news this evening, the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season is upon us, and NEMO officials are sending a strong message of disaster preparedness. With a population of some 50,000, only 935 persons can be housed in emergency shelters. We met with co-chair of the Grand Bahama Disaster Committee to address that concern. Ramiko Knowles has more.
It's been 3 years since the last natural disaster, and we are at the dawn of the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season. Co-chair for Grand Bahama Disaster Committee, Tammy Mitchell, says they're hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
You always have to think positive. We might not be able to hold everybody, but I look at it this way. If the buildings or more churches, because you may be able to use them at different levels, even if it's just for housing after the storm. But I'm going to stay positive in saying that if there's a need for more buildings to be used and persons step forward, I wouldn't put my head on the chopping block, but I would say that persons will come and offer because they know if we're asking for it, there's a need.
Noting that many buildings may not have passed inspection, Mitchell says they can be used as post shelters, feeding centers, or distribution points. But in terms of not having enough space to house persons, she says they will have to figure out the best way to deal with that threat when it occurs.
So you always have in your mind what are additional buildings that you may have looked at previously that we could say, listen, we couldn't use you then, but can we have you on standby? Okay. So that's a way of trying to tackle the not having the emergency shelters for the season.
Mitchell adds that there is a need for multi-purpose buildings on the island.
I'm thinking that a number of persons are now leaning towards that, including the government, trying to find ways, hopefully, to have multi-purpose buildings, because it just doesn't have to be used during the hurricane season. You could have it for sporting events, you could have it for school events, but the main thing everybody has to look at is maintenance of those buildings as well.
Now, there are a number of churches passing inspection that has volunteered their building as shelters for a number of years. Mitchell says that they are grateful and the number is increasing. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
We are less than 1 month away from the country's 46th anniversary of independence, and the calendar of events is looking to be very exciting for Grand Bahama. Celebrations will be held under the theme, United We Stand, Bahamas, Together We Can. This year, Senator, the Honorable Jasmine Darius, will chair the Independence Committee, and she says that this year, history will be made.
This, my brothers and sisters, allows us for the first time in 46 years of our celebrations, we have the most honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis, who will be celebrating with us at the cultural extravaganza on the Independence Park in Freeport. So we are beaming with pride as we host this auspicious occasion where there will be a variety of entertainment, cultural display, and of course fireworks.
Also encouraging the entire community to support all of the events scheduled for the month of July. And in true Bahamian fashion, the events will begin with an ecumenical service with more through the month and all across the island. President of the Grand Bahama Christian Council, Reverend Dr. Robert Lockhart, is also encouraging all residents to support these services as this nation pauses to give God thanks and seek his guidance for the way forward.
June, there's going to be a service at the Newman Olivet Baptist Church in Holmes Rock, St. Michael's Anglican Church at Sweeting Ski also, and we're going to encourage persons in those communities to make sure be a part of these services. On Monday, July 1st, there's going to be ecumenical service at Emmanuel Baptist Disciple Center in High Rock. And then, of course, there's also going to be on Sunday, July 7th, the ecumenical service in Freeport, Life Community Church, Polaris Drive, Caravelle Beach. We want to encourage all of you to be a part of these services. It's going to be an exciting time as we come together as people.
Now, as we go to break tonight, ZNS Northern Service would like to advise the public that due to inclement weather, the ZNS Corporate Mix and Mingle Entertainment Series that was set to kick off tonight at the Pelican Bay Hotel has been postponed to next week, Friday. The entertainment series will run for a total of 9 weeks, and as we said earlier, it has been pushed back to next Friday due to bad weather. Once again, ZNS Corporate Mix and Mingle will not take place tonight, but don't forget to check us out next Friday night at Pelican Bay. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news on the other side of the break.